All right, this is pre-algebra, and we are taking notes on page 13, and we are going to call it variables and expressions. So page 13 is variables and expressions. So you turn to page 13. Variables and expressions. So some of this is going to be a review and other parts are going to be new. So we start out with, let's define variable. And a variable is a letter. And the letter stands, so it's a letter that stands for a number. So we take out a number in a problem and we put in a variable. It's an unknown. It's a mystery. It stands for a number. The most common variable is x. And variables are typically written in cursive so they don't get confused. So the most common variable is x. So to review, a variable is an unknown. It's a letter that stands in for a number. So we're going to be using variables today, and when we use variables, they're called algebraic. A-L-G-E-B-R-A-I-C. Algebraic expressions. Here, I can fix this. Algebraic expressions. And algebraic expressions is just a mathematical phrase that uses variables, it uses numbers, and operational symbols. And operational symbols are things like plus, minus, times, divide. So when we have variables, which are a letter, right, that problem is now called an algebraic expression. An algebraic expression is a mathematical phrase that uses variables, numbers, and operational symbols. It's important just to keep in our mind, it's called an expression if there's no equal sign. It's called an equation if their yes is an equal sign. And I remember that by equa and equal. An expression has no equal sign, and an equation, yes, has an equal sign. So an expression would be something like 3 plus 1. And the equation would be 3 plus 1 equals 4. It has an answer written to it. Now, of course, these are typically going to have variables in them to make them algebraic. We're not going to see things that are this easy today. So let's get into these operational symbols. Plus, minus, times, divide. It'd be nice if it always was that easy, but unfortunately, it's not. So operational words. And of course, there's always more, so you should add to this list as you think of things or ones that you come across that we use a lot. So let's begin with this symbol right here. And let's make a list of words that could mean this operational symbol. Well, if we start out plus. If you had a mathematical phrase that said plus, we know that it would be this symbol. Or sum. The sum of x and y would be x plus y. X, this symbol, y. We could say add. We could build on that to say addition. We could even say more than. Increased. Total. Together. And again, we're going to come up with more words that mean this mathematical symbol. So let's leave some space and move on to this mathematical symbol. We could say subtract or minus. You could get fancy and say subtraction. A common one is going to be difference, decreased, take away. And I want you to write down less than, and I want you to make it fancy. Because less than has its own special rule, and we're going to talk about that. But less than means to subtract. It means this symbol. But less than has its own special rule compared to everything else. Let's move on to this symbol. We used to use an X for it. So times, multiply, product. The word of. The word twice means 2 times whatever. And the word half means 1/2 times. And we'll lastly move to this symbol, which means divide, quotient, split, into, between. And there are going to be more words that we discover as we go on. If you ever see the word is, that means equal. So let's just do a few practice problems. If I told you 15 more than K, how would you write that? 15 more than K. Well, we'd look, where is the words more than? And here's the operational symbol. 15 plus K. Or you could write it K plus 15. Because addition, the order doesn't matter. The commutative property of addition states that both of these are the same. However, if I had 15 less than K, I have to write k minus 15. 15 less than k means k minus 15. You cannot write k last. It cannot be 15, take this out, put minus k. That's wrong. If you ever see less than, you have to stop. I circle it because it helps me remember that less than means I take this problem and I switch it. Because order in subtraction matters. If you get out your piece of notebook paper, you can pause the video, get out a piece of notebook paper, and we're going to do some practice problems, and then you can continue to do your homework on that piece of notebook paper. So get out a piece of notebook paper, and we're going to do some practice problems. So I'm going to title it Operational Words. I'm going to put my name, and we're going to do some practice problems. So number 1, let's write down that problem again. 15 more than k. 15 more than k. More than means plus. So 15 plus k. Number 2, t plus 10. If I was going to write that mathematically, I would put t plus 10. Number 3, twice a number. Well, twice, if I looked back at my operational words, means 2 times. So twice, 2 times a number. What number? I don't know. So I can pick any variable I want. I'm going to say n for number. You could put x and you'd be right. Number 4. The sum of a number and 10. Well, if I looked at my operational words, sum means plus. So I'm going to add a number, n, plus 10. "45 divided by q." I'm going to write it just the way it says it. 45 divided by q. If you wanted to write 45 over q, that would also work. I don't know why I put 7 there. Number 5. Number 6. Half of x. Of means times, so half of x. Number 7. 38 less than d. This is where I stop and think. I see the word less than, so I know I have to switch it. D minus 38. Number 8. The difference of 10 and f. Difference means minus, so I'm going to do exactly what it tells me. 10 minus f. the product of A and B. Product means times, so what am I multiplying? A and B. If you wanted to write it A, B with them touching, that works too, because when two things touch, a variable and a number or a variable and a variable, that means multiply. 42 less than x is 9. I'm going to stop. I see less than, so I'm subtracting. What am I subtracting? X minus 42. The word is means equals 9. Last practice problem. X decreased by 11 is twice B. X decreased means minus 11 is equals twice 2 times B. All right, you're going to turn this paper over, and on the back of this piece of notebook paper, you are going to do your homework. So on the back of this piece of notebook paper, please answer your homework questions.